Welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. It's the Tuesday edition. I'm your host, Tate Frazier, and as always, I am joined by the best in the business. That's right, Cousin Sal, back in the house. Sal, good to see you, man.
Yeah, best in the business. When do I get my
Yeah.
trophy for that, Tate? I mean,
I,
people
we're
just say
we're
it over and over, but I feel
we're
like there
etching
should
it
be.
in. We're building a
Okay.
trophy right now. We'll send it over. It's gonna be a
Okay,
nice
great.
one. It's gonna be a real good one. You can put it in the background there, next to Tony Romo, next to
There's
Rowdy
no
Piper
room.
there.
Yeah, I'll get a life-size cutout. Danny Heifetz said I should just add a cutout every week so that I'm like surrounded by him, and never mention it. So,
Yeah, it turns
I'm-
into like a
yeah,
PTI set, right? That
that's
would be
it.
good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the call there. Shout out to Danny Heifetz, also on the Ringer Gambling Show on Fridays. Go check that out. But today we got a lot to get to. We got Steve Muench from the McShay Show that will be joining us later to talk some college football, so that'll be fun.
This is the Ringer Gambling Show presented by FanDuel. And if you're betting on the NFL, FanDuel's the place to do it. You've got everything: same game parlays, quick bets for when you jump in live, and your way so you can set your own lines. The app's fast, it's easy to use, and best of all, when you win, you get paid out instantly. Download the FanDuel app or go to fanduel.com/gamblers to get started. Yes, you must be 21 or older and present in select states and 18 or older in DC, Kentucky, and Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
But let's start here, Sal. Monday Night Football, a wacky slew of games. Not the prettiest games, but pretty shocking results, to say the least. Let's start here with the Buffalo Bills. This is a team that if you wanted to point to who's the best team in the NFL, it seemed like Buffalo was the right answer. Obviously, Drake May has a great game up in Buffalo. That felt like an aberration. But again, a 2024 quarterback, Michael Penix, gets the best of them last night. They came out early, hit him in the mouth, and they were never able to recover in this one. How shocked are you by this result in Atlanta last night?
I'm very, very surprised. I mean, maybe they lose a game or something, but they were beat up. They were beat up for most of that game. And Josh Allen was bottled up the whole game. Atlanta's defense looked like they were playing with an extra dude the whole time, pressuring, closing running lanes for Josh Allen, forced him to throw 2 picks. And he's forcing balls to Terrell Shavers and Elijah Moore. At some point, if there's a couple of injuries, you get to step back and see, wow, what is this guy really doing on his own, Josh Allen? And he had to do a lot, and Atlanta didn't let him do it. And Bijan Robinson breaks one primetime breakout game with 170. That Falcons team looked legit, but also, yeah, definitely worried about the Bills, how they look in the last 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden, people we know very well are talking about the Patriots winning that division. It's not fun.
They're officially the favorites right now. They're in first place in the AFC East, which is shocking. I did want to talk about Bijan Robinson a little bit because a good weekend for the Texas Longhorns. They win the Red River rivalry. Then Bijan Robinson shows out on Monday Night Football. This is sort of the prince that was promised there down in Atlanta. He did look the part last night. And this team, are we buying into the Falcons actually being a real contender in the NFC South?
I love Tampa Bay so much, and I just they already beat them. And if they were going to lose to the Falcons, I thought it would be that week 1, right? Not the second matchup when Wirfs was out, offensive line problems. So I think they like the cream of the crop when it comes to that division. But yes, Falcons are definitely in the mix when you talk about that last wild card, or maybe even a better wild card seeding right there. So yeah, they look pretty good.
Yeah, that game against the Panthers will go down as one of the strangest games of the season when you talk about this Atlanta, Falcons team. I did like the throwback jerseys. Both teams rocking the throwbacks last night. That was a lot of fun. Let's talk about the other game, number 1 versus number 2 from the 2024 draft class. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, another epic in the saga. Not really the best game. A lot of turnovers in this one, penalties galore, but Jake Moody was the real star of this game, Sal. Some redemption for him. Comes in with Santos being hurt, and he kicks a game-winning field goal. That was pretty cathartic for Jake Moody. I was happy for him. What about you?
I was too, especially with all the big Jake Moody news was that Caleb Williams had no idea who he was when he came on the team. I still don't think even when he did the post-game interview, Caleb Williams knew who Jake Moody was, but good for him. And it really looked like Ben Johnson was setting him up for failure, right? Like with these, it was good that Swift gained yards towards the end, but he had just gotten a kick blocked. The wind is swirling. It's raining. You're on the road. Like, what are you doing to this guy? Get closer, get closer, get closer. Looks like they were playing defense that last drive, Chicago, but tried and true, he nailed it right through. But that would have been a miserable double walk-off win for Washington versus Chicago. Hail Mary year before, and then a blocked or missed kick at the end. But they did enough, and the commies turned it over 3 times, and that was the difference.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels threw his first pick of the season early in that game. That was also a tough beat there. Then the fumble late in the game with about 3 minutes to go. And you mentioned it, Swift. I mean, even the big play that got them into the 36-yard field goal range, it was a pitch back that got him behind the line. That was the career long for Jake Moody. But luckily, Swift turned it upfield and made a good play for the Bears. So congratulations to Caleb Williams. He evens up the score there with Jaden Daniels. That was a big win. Any other big takeaways from Monday Night Football from you, Sal? Did we learn anything last night?
I think Caleb Williams didn't look great, I think, but he was mistake-free, and that's kind of what he has to do. I'm sure Ben Johnson wants him to do more, but he's now on pace for 4,000 yards passing, which has never been done by a Bears quarterback before. Isn't that ridiculous that this is, all right, we don't count from the forward pass era. I'm not going to say from the 1930s, but to not have a 4,000 yard passer all these years is just incredible. So yeah, maybe they could keep it going. I liked it because Commanders in the NFC East, good luck figuring out who's going to win that NFC East. I thought the Commanders would be in the driver's seat after yesterday, but not the case.
Not the case at all. And yeah, shout out to the Bears. I think Mitch Trubisky could have got it done. I like him on those commercials where they have the backup orderer come in, the backup QB. So I think he's having a good time there in Buffalo. But again, the Bears feel like they have their quarterback. Both quarterbacks look solid in this game. Jaden Daniels still trying to get his knee right. So a lot of fascinating storylines coming out of Monday Night Football. Let's flip to college football now, Sal, because we got even more insane storylines. James Franklin, Penn State was kind of the proverbial pick of the experts to win the national championship. This was supposed to be their year. Cut to week 7 of college football, and James Franklin is fired after losing 3 straight games. How shocked are you, Sal, and how shocked are you that they're going to pay him this insane buyout? I mean, they're saying with all the assistant coaches and everything, this could be up to $100 million that Penn State is willing to spend to get rid of him.
God. Yeah. Where did they get this money? Imagine
private equity, I guess. I don't know who's paying.
I mean, there could be cover-ups in that institution. It could be a lot. Someone could go on there. Yeah, immediately I thought everyone should have a clause in their contract that if they lose 2 games in a row where they're favored by 20 plus points, they're immediately dismissed. And I know that trend went out there over the social webs, and that was that for James Franklin. But yeah, you're right. The rub is you're out $49 million and up to $100 million when you talk about staffers and everything, and that's money you could spend on players. But then they said it was Adidas who demanded they let him go, and they paid for it. So I don't know anymore, Tate. It's a complicated world, but I think they see what a team like UCLA has done with a new coach early on in the season or midway through the season, turning it around. They could be like, hey, that could be us. It's actually worse that Franklin lost to UCLA 2 weeks ago because it was right there in their face what this team could do with a new coach. So rest in riches, James Franklin. Yeah,
and apparently he has a clause in his contract where he has to attempt to get a new job, whether it's broadcasting or whether it's a head coaching job, and that's going to help them get the buyout down. But again, a fascinating situation there in Happy Valley. They are unhappy at this point, and they don't have a quarterback either. Drew Aller getting hurt in that game against Northwestern, so that's another damning thing. And then for the gamblers that are watching this show, Penn State has been the perfect fade, though. They are 0-6 against the spread. So if you want to keep it up, just keep betting against this Penn State team when it comes down to the spread.
I will do that. I will do that. It is weird with these coaches. It's really very hard to feel bad for any of them, right? Like we're going to talk about Brian Callahan in a minute, but that guy makes $23,000 per day until the year 2029, which that seems like a long time from, what is that, like 40 years? That's a long time for him to be making that. We'll never get to 2029, right? But,
yeah, right. Not at this rate, but he'll get paid regardless. So it's a great deal. Yeah, being a fired football coach is a good place to be. Let's talk about a quarterback that everybody's been talking about, Arch Manning. He wins the Red River rivalry. He puts on the cowboy hat. Now there is a question out there, Sal, and they're asking this everywhere. Is Texas back? Do you believe in the Longhorns? Can they make the CFP after getting a big win against Oklahoma?
I'm staying away. He was fine. He was good. He was good. But I never felt like he was going to spoil things for the Longhorns on Saturday. I guess that's the best you can get to with him at this point. 166 yards. Had a touchdown. He had that 30-yard run, which was his biggest, probably best contribution. But that defense was solid, and Mateers what I think a poor decision to play him, not ready, jump back in after that injury. That was the difference. They're plus 128 to make the playoffs. I just don't see that dominant team from last year, right, showing up. So they're at Georgia. They're home for Vandy and Texas A&M. There could easily be 2 more losses there. And so I think 4 would be too many. I'm still out on Archer's squad.
Yeah, and I will say we brought this up on the show quite a bit. The Texas defense, number 2 in the country in stop rate, so they are one of the top defenses in the country. They're the real stars of this team. I've even said that number 16 on defense, Michael Taft, is the real number 16 on this team. He's the best number 16 on this team. So the Texas defense doing their part for them to have a chance to actually make a run late in the season. But again, the schedule will get tougher as the season wanes on. Let's talk about Indiana, because this is a team, their head coach, Curt Cignetti, has talked about the SEC scheduling quite a bit, but he had a big win at Oregon. Our Ducks took a hit this weekend, and Indiana, they looked the part. They looked like a real top 3 team. They are now ranked number 3 in the country. Do you think that Indiana could end up being the best team in the country, Sal?
I was very impressed. I was also impressed with my son Archie for not waking up at 4 a.m. this year to attend college game day. He did it last year. So, and they beat Ohio State.
One time's enough. Yeah.
That's it. That's enough. It's a very physical team, this Indiana team. This is going to sound like a slight, but they remind me of Iowa, all the toughness of Iowa defense, but with big play, blue chip skill position players. And Fernando Mendoza is at the top of that list. He threw a bad pick 6 and they got right back on that Hoosier horse, right? And their defense made Oregon look bad. That was probably the worst I've seen Oregon look in 2.5 years. Even against Ohio State last year, there were like some glimmers of hope against them. I know they didn't get blown out. It was a game until the 4th quarter, but I think it's Indiana and Ohio State 1 and 2. We won't see that until the 2nd week in December for the Big Ten championship. But yeah, you're right. Curt Cignetti's squad is for real top 2 in all the land, I would say.
Yeah, Cignetti said to Mendoza when he threw that pick 6, he said, "Are you having fun yet?" So there's a lot of confidence when it comes to Curt Cignetti and what he's got with this team.
I would take that the wrong way. I would have definitely taken that the wrong way. I'm like, screw you, man. I'm getting booed out here by my own team.
Yeah, they could have put in the other Mendoza, the brother that's on the team, if they needed to. Last college football note we want to hit here. Georgia, Auburn. This was a game that was mired by officiating. A lot of conversations about the officials in this game. I have some Auburn friends in my life that have been pointing out that they got absolutely hosed in this game. Now they got their AD talking about he's not sure if his car will start in relation to Hugh Freeze staying there as the head coach. So a lot happening in Auburn. Cam Newton was at the game. That was fun to see. But again, Georgia, lucky to survive this one. We have a situation where, was it a timeout? Was it a clap? Kirby was able to convince the refs that he was clapping, not calling a timeout. So that is going to be the big talking point from this game. But are we worried about the Bulldogs? Because this was not a very inspiring performance, to say the least.
No, I mean, they were lucky. They're going to be good. They're going to have probably 2 losses or 3, but they're going to get in the playoffs. But yes, that whole charade was ridiculous. First of all, the fumble at the goal line. All right, I'll give the refs that. That's like, that replay is as close as it's going to come to like trying to figure out if a guy fumbled or crossed the goal line. But I don't think for sure Georgia doesn't come back if they're down 17-0. And then you're right. Just that, first of all, I thought like they're going to have to bring the National Guard in to protect those refs, because there was like 20 minutes worth of reviews and it all went against Auburn. And that timeout is
at home too. Yeah.
Listen, if a coach is sprinting down the sideline, doing anything with his hands, I don't care what he's doing. If he's biting his nails, that's a timeout. If he's got making eye contact with the ref. So ridiculous. Bummer, because I had Auburn as the 4th playoff team from the SEC. That's another futures wager kaput, Tate. But now Georgia has Ole Miss, and we're going to talk about that. I think that's not a gimme by any means.
I think somebody should have called up the clapper, Jason Garrett, to get his thoughts on that. Was it a clap? Was it a timeout? He's the ultimate expert on this. So maybe we can get his thoughts at some point. Now let's get our thoughts. Let's do some line look aheads here, because we got some good games this weekend. Let's start here. You just mentioned it. Number 5, Ole Miss taking on number 9, Georgia. Georgia minus 7.5 in this game. 53.5 is the over/under that is set. We got some nice, trash talk happening. These are 2 guys that work together at Alabama, Lane Kiffin, Kirby Smart. They asked Lane Kiffin about these guys being the most animated coaches on the sideline and burning calories. He said he saw a video of Kirby Smart. Didn't look like he had burned too many calories. So Lane Kiffin taking some subtle shots there at the Georgia head coach. Who do you like in this game, Sal?
Well, the gamblers are not falling for it. They have pushed this from 6.5 to 7.5, and I'll gladly take Ole Miss, who I liked before the line move, at plus 7.5. The Rebs skunked the Dogs, right, in Oxford last year. I think it was like 28-10. Kirby Smart 1 and 2 against Mississippi. I like what this Trinidad Chambliss has done. Kind of sleptwalked through their game last week versus Washington State, but 8th best pass offense against the 60th ranked defense. That's what we're seeing in Ole Miss and Georgia. I just don't like Georgia to cover this number. I know Lane Kiffin's home away splits are vast, but Georgia gets off to slow starts. They were lucky, like we talked about, versus Auburn. They struggled with Tennessee. They lost to Bama. If Gunnar Stockton gets behind, and I pulled for Gunnar. Every week I'm on here talking about this is Gunnar's breakout game, but they can't put together a game where they score big. They average 30 in conference games. I don't think they get there. I think it's 27-26. I'm taking the 7.5 points.
I like the call there for Ole Miss. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a slow start in this game. In my mind, if I close my eyes and I look into the future, I see 10-10 at halftime. So I'm going to take first half tie plus 880. So I think
look at you, Tate. Wow.
Both these teams are going to struggle out the gate. They're both going to be feeling each other out a little bit. I think second half, Georgia kind of clicks in a little bit in this game. So I'll take Georgia money line as a safety net minus 240. But I like a first half tie in this one because Georgia, for whatever reason, they just can't start out great. And I feel like Ole Miss is going to be hanging around in this game, and I like a low-scoring first half.
I'm betting that.
10-10.
I know you're not betting it. I'm betting it. I'm betting
okay.
that. 10-10 tie. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's put that in. Next up, I saw this team in person this weekend. They look pretty good. Number 20, USC at number 13, Notre Dame. Notre Dame minus 9.5 in this game. 61.5 is the over-under that is set. What do you like in this one, Sal?
By the way, speaking of in person, I was going to ask you, are you traveling 6 hours north to see Coach Belichick? It's a Friday night game, right? You could be
I had
home
tickets.
Time for your thing. You did?
What
do you
tickets.
mean? And what
I
happened
sold
to
them.
them?
Yeah.
No. You sold them back to Lombardi?
No, I just, I found a nice Berkeley, family or something, I guess, that decided to buy my 2 tickets. I was planning to go to this game when the excitement was there. I like the trip.
Yeah.
I love Berkeley. Cheese Board, shout out to the Cheese Board, a great pizza spot up there. So I was excited to go back to Berkeley, have some friends up there. But, I pulled the plug, Sal. I'm a bad fan. I don't want to be there.
When they talk about low points for UNC, there's a lot. There's the Belichick, Jordan. There's the interview, the CBS interview. There's getting blown out by Clemson. There's losing home games all over the place.
Getting blown out by TCU.
TCU. Yeah. I think right at the top of the list is you selling your tickets. And by the way, let's face it, you gave them away. You didn't sell them. So that's it. It's the low point for the UNC season. But as far as let's talk USC, they're playing well. Like you said, this line went from 7.5 to 9.5. They lost that coin flip game to Illinois a couple weeks back, but they have their shit together right now. Jaden Maiva, Lincoln Riley, I think that's a winning combination. They're down a couple running backs. That's maybe why the spread moved a little, but they rank second in total offense per game with 552 yards and first in yards per play over 8. Notre Dame lost to good teams they played, A&M and Miami, and then they've kind of run it up on third-tier teams. USC, I think, is somewhere in the middle with the upset capabilities, Tate. I know Notre Dame won 6 of the last 7 this year. I just think it's time for a close one. I'm going to pick the upset, but I'll officially take the points 33-30 USC plus 9.5. Way too many. You're bolder than I am, though.
Yeah, way too many points there. I just feel like this USC team, the defense figured something out. And obviously, maybe give the defense too much credit against a Michigan team that did not have much creativity on the offensive side of the football. But I like what the defense showed last weekend. I do think Jacoby Lane is a guy who can really do something for this team and give them a threat on the outside. And Notre Dame, the penalties at home have been head-scratching. Boise State game was a little bit too close for comfort. The NC State game took a while for them to kind of get into gear. So I think if they start out slow against USC, USC can come out, put some points on the board, put some pressure on Notre Dame, make them start thinking about, their playoff potential and things like that. So I'm just going to go USC money line. I'm going to take a big swing here, plus 240. I know that's not the smartest play, but again, anything can happen any given Saturday, Sal. So I'm going to take the Trojans. And like you said, they're due in this rivalry series. So maybe I'm a little biased after being there this weekend, but the Trojan fans, they talked me into it. They believe.
This is a big, let's pause for a second. I mean, we don't have to pause, but I want to see for playoff implications, this is as big as anything else, right? Where do they have? I know Notre Dame, the yes is minus 150. So they're going to be a big underdog to make the playoffs if they lose this. And USC, I think it's a little wider than that. The yes is plus 390. So USC wins this. That crunch is a little tighter. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, go look at those odds. Maybe make a play before this game kicks off. There's something there.
Yep.
Next up, line look ahead. Number 10 LSU taking on number 12 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt favored at home, -2.5. Over under set at 48.5. What do you like in this game, Sal?
Well, you know me, Tate. I'm old school, and I write out the matchups, at least the top
I love
25.
it.
I used to be
It's
a
so
lot
good.
worse. I used to have every single college game. So this was Times New Roman like 4.5 to fit on one page. But now I just do top 25. I had LSU as a favorite. I had them on the left side. Now I see Vanderbilt 2.5, and I'm biting here. I know we're at odds here. You're going to take LSU. Don't tell Van, but this LSU team is nothing to write home to mom about. I don't know if people still write home, but they fumble a lot. They have no run game. Brian Kelly looks miserable on the sidelines. LSU scored more than 20. They haven't scored more than 20 against a Power 4 team. So I think Diego Paiva is going to give them all they can handle, both throwing and running. Commodores, I'll say they win at home, and the fans rush the field, even though you said they are favored. 26-20, I'm saying, final score.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about where Vanderbilt football is right now. I got to give them a lot of credit. There's even some rumblings that maybe Clark Lee, the head coach of Vanderbilt, could do the same James Franklin route, go from Vandy up there to Penn State. There's also some people talking about Brian Kelly watching Mayor of Easttown, learning his Pennsylvania accent so he can go up to Penn State. So whoever wins this game might end up getting a call from Penn State's AD to see if they want to go up there and be the next head coach. But I'm going to go LSU money line. I think this team has to have a get-right game at some point. I do think that they have more athleticism, more natural talent there. So I'll take them plus 110. Next up, line look.
You have to take them because Van carries a bat during these
that is true. It is very threatening.
Yes, of course. I don't think you get the most honest takes from your co-host if you're carrying a bat.
I get a little concerned sometimes. I'm lucky. It's lucky that I'm not in the same room with him. But
he's going to
LSU.
be extra upset because he lost in our guillotine league that you were invited to and then kicked out of unceremoniously before.
I don't know what happened with that. We were supposed to be all over that. I was supposed to be on a team with Kyle. I don't know what happened there. Last line look ahead here. We got number 11 Tennessee at number 6 Alabama. Alabama -9.5 in this game. 58.5 is the over/under set. What do you like in this one, Sal?
I looked at it a lot. I'm playing this a little differently. I'm going Vols over 25.5 points. They actually won last year 24-17. They've won 2 out of 3 in this series. They've averaged 32 points in those games. Tennessee has. So I think they get to 26. Over 25.5 is my play. Bama edged out Mizzou last week. It just doesn't get easier for them or any of these SEC teams. If you get an easy game one week, you're going to get 2 or 3 tough ones in a row. So that's just how it is. And now Tennessee has 3 of the top 7 wide receivers in the SEC. Running back to Sean Bishop, he just went for, I think, about 150 last week. He sounds like he's going to give it a go. He's a little banged up. He's an important cog in that offense. If nothing else, it seems like this team could have a nice garbage touchdown or 2 at the end that puts them over the point total. You know what? I'm going to make us both winners here, Tate, because I see your pick. I'm going to say 39-29 Bama, but my bet is Vols over 25.5 points.
I like that call. I think I'm going to learn a lesson from the Vanderbilt game where, Alabama gets that backdoor cover and ends up covering the big spread there, even though Vandy looked like they were in control of that game. I think something similar could happen here, Sal. So I'm going to learn my lesson. Like I said, -9.5. I'm going to take Bama at -105. So there you go. College football, line look aheads. Let's do some track to the futures quickly here. NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Dart is favored -140. Do you believe in Jackson Dart? Do you think this is already locked up, or do you like someone else on the board, Sal?
It's even now. It's gone to +100. I don't know if anything happened last night. And Egbuka is +450. I like that. Jackson Dart, good for New York. I'm going to be talking to Boomer Esiason about that later in the week. But I was bragging too much, Tate. That was a brag, too, that I'm going to have Boomer Esiason on. I can't stop bragging. I took Jaden Daniels last year for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I gave out Stroud the year before. Neither was favored. Both won. And I got mouthy boasting about my Egbuka pick, who was literally running away with the award. 470 yards, 5 touchdowns on his way to a monster year. And now he's got this hamstring. He's not playing this week. I don't think he'll play. If he doesn't play next week, they have a bye. I could see them keeping him out. That's tough to come back from a couple of games in the hole if Jackson Dart continues what he's doing. But I'm sticking with the pick. Egbuka plus, what is it now? Now it's 450.
Plus 450, right?
Yeah, moved to 450. Heal that hamstring. Tough nagging injury, but I'm going to keep faith in my 3-peat pick.
Yeah, I had Egbuka as well. I thought that he was going to be the guy, but the hamstring is a little bit concerning. I wish that I could do Dart and Scatterboo together. I wish that was an option. You know what I mean? I wish we could have a dual offensive rookie of the year because they feel like they're kind of in tandem at this point. And
Yeah.
but Dart's favored, so Dart's probably the safe play there. But we both like Igbuka.
Scatterboo 15-1. I'm looking. Yeah.
Scatterboo,
Wow,
not quite the guy there, but I mean, maybe together they could do something. Let's go to baseball, Sal. Track to the Future World Series winner. Dodgers favored -135. Who do you like here, or is there a prop on the board that you like?
Well, I gave them out a couple of weeks ago, plus 550. That was on a whim. I really thought the bullpen, when Blake Snell goes almost all the innings, you don't have to worry too much about the bullpen, although it did get a little dicey at the end.
And he had 30 pitches in the first inning, too. I mean, for him to go 8, that was crazy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He would have been pulled by most teams after 30 pitches, but he is great. The Dodgers are great. Let's face it. I don't think that number, what'd you say? They're -135 to win the World Series now. So they're 7 games away. I think the way to do this is take a look at some of these MVP numbers. Like Freddie Freeman is 10-1. That would be my pick. Ohtani's favored, but only +300. Also, he's 2 for his last 24. I wouldn't trust that. Betts 14-1. Teoscar 20-1. Freddie, we remember what he did to the Yankees. Poor Mikey Meatballs was at that game, and he's already showing signs of heating up. Right? He had a homer and a double last night. He hit 3 of the last in the 4 games of against Philly. He's smiling, rounding the bases like he knows the result ahead of time. I think Freddie Freeman for MVP at 10-1 is a good pick, or start picking off some of those Dodger MVP bets if you like the team.
Yeah, he's turning into the Freddie that we saw last year in October. So that is, it's like a Freddie versus Jason situation there.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even realize that. Yeah,
there you
Freddie
go. We can do a little
Halloween.
October crossover. That would be good. I like that 10-1. I gave this out before the playoffs started. Manners, I think it was +600 at the time to win the World Series. So I'm going to stick with the Manners, +175. I know they haven't ever made the World Series, but I really like this team. It does feel like Big Dumper and the crew, they just kind of feel like they're built for this. So +175, that number is moving in that direction.
Sorry. When we went in March, we went to Kimmel Comedy Club. We did our March Madness thing. That was a lot of fun. Kenny Mayne was there.
Big Mariners fan, yeah.
Big Mariners fan. I wanted to thank him for coming out, and I gave him a free Mariners ticket to win the World Series. And I think that was like 16-1 back then. So he's looking good. He's going to be a rich man again, Kenny Mayne.
I'm enjoying Kenny Mayne on Threads tweeting about the Manners game, so I wanted to give him some love there. I'm following along. He's having a great time. Let's go to the NBA. Track to the future here. NBA MVP, SGA is favored at +160, but you and I both don't like SGA. What's the play for you, Sal?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they're a 1 seed and they're just dominating again, and he has the stats like he had last year, he had so many votes. Simmons usually tips me off to 3 players that are worth it odds-wise, but then never come close to winning, and he won't vote for any. He himself won't vote for any of them, so I'm looking forward to that. He voted for Jokic last year. That's public knowledge. So, and Jokic came in second to SGA. I'm going to go Wemby 12-1. He only played 46 games last year, but if he can get to that 65-70 range and put up, let's say 27, 12, 4, and 4 blocks and make, over a 3 per game. And by the way, those numbers are not much different than what he did last year. I don't think if he does that and plays all those games, I don't think the Spurs could be worse than like a 48 win team. So like a 4 seed, he'd have to get votes. So hear me out, Simmons. Vote for Wemby and make up for that cheating you did on Guess the Lines a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I like that number. And Wemby, I mean, looking like Shaq out there dominating in the paint, and looks like he's bulked up a little bit too. So I like that at +1200. I like another guy at +1200. I like Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's got both his brothers next to him in Milwaukee this year. He's basically going to be playing de facto point guard for this team. Ryan Rollins will be starting at point guard. But again, Giannis will have the ball in his hands. I think Giannis has a message to be sent. There was a lot of all-season chatter about him wanting to go to New York or another team, forcing a trade. He was very upset about all this sort of stuff. So Giannis with a little bit of a message to be sent to the rest of the NBA and the rest of the world, really, that he is still one of the guys, if not the best guy in the NBA. So I like him at +1200.
Do you think I mean, it's crazy that you're getting him at +1200, right? Just a couple years ago, he was dynamiting at the top of the list. I know the team has changed the dynamic, but do you think that helps having all your brothers on a team? Like if your parents were behind you while you were doing this podcast, would you be better at it or would you be worse?
Oh, they're listening. That's why I keep it
right. But if they were right
in
the room, I mean, it's one thing if your brothers are watching you on TV play basketball, but if they're on the bench, I don't know. Maybe that number should be higher.
I've heard a lot of people say that 2021 NBA Finals, that Thanasis was really good at getting Giannis to breathe. Like, he was so hyped up that he was like losing his breath. They had to take him out of one of the games because they were like, he's going to have a heart attack out there. So
he didn't breathe during one of those games. That's
he was
amazing.
so fired up. You know what I mean?
He
just
should
loves
get more
so
credit
much.
for not breathing. Yeah,
I'm a big Giannis guy. I'm hoping he wins it this year. Let's track to the future. NBA Rookie of the Year. Flag, of course, is favored, and Flag is looking really good. Playing point guard for the Mavericks in the preseason right now. Minus 220. It seems like the easy bet there, Sal, but is there someone else on the board that you like?
Well, Simmons has said on text with me that Flag is a generational talent, and I wrote that down because you're not going to get that.
I haven't heard that before. That's a good take.
They've been saying it since the guy was 4 years old, but that's okay. I'm not going to take him at minus 220. Like, he is the best player right there. He's going to get the most headlines and all that stuff. But I was going through the list of the slugs there: Darko, Fultz, Anthony Bennett, Greg Oden, which, I mean, there've been some Zion didn't win in 2020, right? So you would have thought for sure. So I'm going to go off the board here. I'm going to say Ace Bailey at plus 900. Now I'm seeing that he left the Jazz preseason home opener with knee soreness, both knees. So you know what that is, Tate? That's playing possum. That's what my guy Ace Bailey is doing. We won some money with him with Rutgers. I think we're going to do it again. He could be one of the better two-way players. He averaged 35% from three in college and over a block per game. That team was 17-65, that Jazz team. So if he puts this team on his back and gets him to like 30, 35 wins, Flag gets injured. I know I'm asking a lot here, but he's right in there. That's my pick right there. Ace Bailey.
I like that call. I liked Ace Bailey going at Kevin Durant in that preseason game. They had a nice little back and forth there. And Ace Bailey can score without dribbling the basketball, which is a very fascinating phenomenon. I saw Will Hardy talking about that the other day. He's like, this guy's incredible. And I think he's going to show a lot of people that he should have been the number 2 pick. So plus 900 feels like some value. I'm going to go chalk here. I'm going to take Flag. Feels like the safe bet. I know the odds aren't great, but there's no way that he doesn't win if he stays healthy. And I feel like this Mavs team is going to slowly rely on him more. And if I know Jason Kidd, like I think I know Jason Kidd, he's going to give him the keys to this operation here very soon. And I think he's going to be a really good player. So we'll take Cooper Flag, minus 220.
He is a generational talent, I'm reading, because I wrote that down. I don't know if you knew that.
Generational talent. There you go.
Only 2 rookies, this surprised me, has made the All-Star team just twice in the last 25 years. That's crazy. When you look at compare that to other sports, that's ridiculous for a quarter of a century. Can you name them? I'll give you $100 free baseball bet today if you can name them. 2 rookies made the All-Star team.
I went, like you said, in the last 25 years. I immediately went to like Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? But like I'm trying to think about like rookies of this.
He hasn't been.
LeBron James has to be one.
He's not. He is not.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Give me the answer. I need $100, but I don't have it.
It's Yao Ming, 2003 Yao Ming.
There you go. That's
and 2011 Blake Griffin. So
Blake Griffin's on a red shirt year though.
I see. Yeah.
Technicality.
Well, I guess they count that though. They count it. So it's really just one.
Technicality.
It's really just Yao then. That's insane.
Yeah. That's why Shaq was so intimidated. He was like, "What's going on here? I got to turn it back up."
I get to keep my 100.
That. Yeah. Cooper Flag be in the All-Star game. We'll get it on that list. Good trivia for the future. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got over-under reactions, and we got Muench from the McShay Show breaking down everything that's happening in college football and beyond. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. Joining us now from the McShay Show. Doing a great job over there. And I love every single time we get the episode opened up. McShay asks you, are you good, Muench? And I'll start there. Muench, you good on this Tuesday
I'm good,
morning?
man.
Yeah, good to hear. Well, we got a lot to get to. College football, there's a lot of storylines. We touched on it a little bit at the top of the show. Penn State, what is happening? James Franklin is fired. Everyone's talking about who's next on the board. We get the odds every single day. A different coach, Matt Rule, all these different names thrown out. But what is kind of the philosophy here to make this move, and why did they make it now?
Well, they're looking for someone to get them over the hump. I mean, obviously Franklin was pretty successful there when you look at the win-loss rate. But they're looking for someone who's going to win them a national championship, who can win a big game. I know that I keep hearing about how they were one play away from the national championship, but beating SMU in Boise State in the playoffs isn't exactly, murderer's row to get there. And Franklin deserves a lot of credit where that program was and where he took it. There's no doubt that he helped Penn State, but at the end of the day, are you trying to win championships or are you trying to win 10 games a year? And I think it's fascinating how many people are coming out and saying they can't do better than James Franklin, who is a good coach. But to me, Penn State's a blue blood. They're a different kind of program. You're looking to win natties.
Do you think, real quick, sorry, from James Franklin's point of view, when the hill became too too high to climb. Do you think he himself was like, let me just sit this out and get the $50 million, right? Or am I just going to take shit for the next 2 years and not win a national championship and maybe get close or not get close? When do you think the tide turned for him in his mind?
I don't know. I think I would say if it did, it was this year, because I think he always thought he was going to get there. But I think it got pretty dark after UCLA, and then that Northwestern team stinks. And to lose to that Northwestern team, I actually said to McShay, I was like, they may not have to fire him. Like, he might just quit. He might just be like, enough is enough. I'm out of here, man. Like, I'm too good for this. So I did. I actually entertained that thought. But I think he's like a lot of those other coaches. They always think they're going to be able to turn around. They always think they're going to get over the hump. So I don't know if he ever really reached that point. What's fascinating to me is what they do next. I mean, who are they going to get in there?
Yeah. What does the matchmaker situation look like, Minch? I mean, I've heard the names. Matt Rule has been thrown out there. Obviously, Manny Diaz at Duke has been a name that's been thrown out there. But to me, those guys don't necessarily show, hey, we're going to get over the hump. And if you look at what Franklin did, he goes 7-6 in his first 2 years. Then he wins the conference in his third year. So it wasn't like he hit the ground running there at Penn State. So, like, what's the answer if there is an answer?
I think the answer is Curt Cignetti at Indiana. But, there's
Pennsylvania roots.
Yes. Obviously he was at IUP, grew up, he was born in Pittsburgh. He coached at Pittsburgh for a minute. I mean, he's got those ties, and I think those ties will be really important because I'll be honest with you, I don't think Penn State could pay him enough money to get him out of Indiana. I think Indiana is going to try and match whatever it takes to keep him there. I think that's where they're at right now with this guy. Also, you're going to have to wait. I mean, Indiana's got a real shot at winning this thing. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that. But they got a real shot at winning the whole thing. And if that's the case, then you're waiting till the end of January to figure out whether this guy might say yes or no. And Cignetti can't come out and signal I'm interested because he's making a run right now. Like, at best, someone from his team might mention to someone at Penn State, he's interested in having the conversation, but even then he might not come. So now you're setting that process back pretty far. I think the only way they get him is that he says, I've always wanted to coach there. And this is a dream of mine. And it's got to be something like that. And I don't know if he's ever signaled that before. I haven't found anything like that. The other fascinating names to me are, can you get a guy like Nick Saban or Urban Meyer to come back in? And I really don't think you can. But the idea of Saban winning a natty at LSU, Alabama, and Penn State, I mean, if he's not already the best ever head coach of college football, that cements it, right? I mean, I think that would be an awesome storyline. I can't see Urban Meyer coaching against Ohio State because of his ties to that program. And then another guy who's out right now, who's interesting to me that they could bring back in, is Pat Fitzgerald, who's at Northwestern, obviously has Big Ten ties. Is he a potential upgrade over Franklin? I don't know, man. You're going to get criticized for whoever you bring in here. It doesn't matter. You can bring in whoever, and there are going to be people who are going to nitpick it. You just got to find, the right guy for the job. I just talked to my guy, Craig Hubbard, who's a recruiting guy. He works with the ESPN Next 300, and he works for the Underclassmen Report. And I was like, is recruiting going to play a role in like getting guys? He's like, no, they're not going to get someone in before that because it just doesn't matter enough. The portal's in January. If they have someone before that, whatever. Penn State's going to be able to recruit no matter what. I mean, that was another funny thing about, like, Franklin's a great recruiter. Well, if I send one of you two over to Penn State, you're probably going to be able to get some 5 stars. I mean, like, kids just want to play there, right? I mean, like, they want to go there. So to me, I get it. I understand why people wanted Franklin to stay because of the win-loss thing, but like, no big wins. Like, he just couldn't do it. So find somebody else. And I get that there's no like magic bullet here, but you got to try something else if you want to move forward.
Sorry to interrupt. Just off the wire, Schefter reporting that Penn State inked Brian Callahan to a 4-year deal. that seems a little premature. I don't know.
What a soft landing for Callahan.
Yeah. It didn't take long.
That's another
taking
one,
his dad with him. Yeah,
kind of hasty.
Were you guys surprised by that firing? I thought they'd give him a little bit more time with Cam.
I thought a little more. I just that early in the season for NFL always weirds me out, but I guess they weren't going over the hump. His locker room speech after they won, after they beat the Cardinals was uninspiring. I think, ironically, after a win, it was what did him in. Yeah. Like, we just got to keep doing this. We could just rack up these wins. Like, guys just have to keep fumbling at the goal line and kicking around interceptions, and we could have 8, 9, 10 wins. But
this is easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's turned into like the curse of the number one pick, though. You get the number one pick and then you get fired.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
We've seen it the past 3 times, right, Mitch? I mean, that's kind of been a crazy, trend that we have going on at this point, too.
It's interesting because you would think that they're bringing in a guy that head coach would have some say in, right? You would, if you're going to make a change, make it before then. Something that's going on in college football that's interesting. You look at Oklahoma, and I know we're going to talk about them in a minute, but they brought in Mateer, and they brought in John Mateer, and they brought in their offense coordinator from Washington State too, Ben Arbuckle. And I was always like, I wonder if an NFL team could do that. The timing doesn't really work if you were going to try and make that higher in the draft and all that. It'd be really difficult to do. But it is interesting to me that you draft this kid with one head coach and then you bring in another head coach to coach him. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like Parcells used to say, like, if I'm going to make dinner, I want to pick the groceries, right? Like you want a kind of a say in it.
Yeah, I love that analogy there. Let's talk about Oklahoma because this is kind of a fascinating thing. I saw some people before the game say the committee would evaluate this Oklahoma team a little bit differently if Mateer does not play and they lose to Texas. But instead, he does play. He's not 100%. He throws 3 picks. Obviously, Arch Manning gets the nice win there. But I want to talk about Oklahoma first. Do you think this hurts them even more, the fact that he actually played in this game?
You know, it's interesting because I don't like it. I didn't even think of that angle, the angle that you just had, the way the committee might look at it, and probably should have, because you're right. I think the committee will forgive a win without him in the lineup a little bit more. I think 2 things that Brent Venables, the head coach, wouldn't have put him in the game if he wasn't medically okay. And now we're seeing the kid. I mean, I don't know if you guys, how much you watched the game, but the kid's flexing his hand every throw. So he clearly didn't look 100% right. I think the bigger issue for him was he didn't practice. So he's not really getting used to throwing the ball after being the time off. He's not really getting the looks that he's going to see against Texas. He's not really, going against those looks that week. I think that really hurt them more than anything. Now the backup, and I won't mention his name, didn't really give him much of a shot to win that game, I don't think. I think it would have been worse.
And played against him last year and showed that he could win that game, right?
Yeah, they got smoked last year with him under center.
Why can't we mention his name? People can look it up though.
Hawkins. It's Hawkins, yeah. I mean, you can look him up. I just feel bad. I always feel bad. Like college kids, I feel like it's a little bit different. McShay's ruthless with this stuff. McShay will be like, "Oh, look out for this corner. He's going to get smoked this week." For me, I'm like, "Oh, maybe we don't call out the 20-year-old kid." I feel bad about it. Who gets launched into this spot because the other guy got hurt?
Tate and I will talk about Little League World Series failures, so we don't really care.
Yeah, we're talking about 11-year-olds.
We don't put an age on it.
Yeah, you guys are asking for birth certificates. So yeah, like I think in terms of winning the game, the Mateer playing gave them the best option. I can't believe that they would have put him in if they thought he was going to get hurt, but him missing practice really hurt them. And maybe do you play the political game? Do you play the game of do we think this will look better for the committee? I don't know. I don't like, who knows? I think the committee's
it also takes away from the rivalry, right? If you're sitting a guy trying to play politics, it feels like it's not football at that point. So I agree with you.
And if Mateer comes up and lights it up, I mean, he is a legend in Oklahoma for the rest of his life. Like you gotta love that. And I know you guys want to talk about whether or not they're a contender at this point. I mean, and it's tough. I mean, you got Ole Miss at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and LSU to end of the year. Good luck.
Yeah, FanDuel has them at 3-1 to not make the playoffs. So
yeah, I think it's gonna be real tough. They're a good team. That defense is awesome, and if Mateer plays like he did against Michigan, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But I could see them dropping. I mean, at least 2 of those games. I think Alabama's got a real shot to win the whole thing too. So I think it's more likely than not that they're not going to make it, despite being a great team. That's what happens in the SEC. More likely than not, they don't get in.
What about Texas, Mitch? I mean, this is obviously a game where they felt like they got back on the rails and they have a chance now to maybe make a run for the playoffs. The odds are moving back in their favor a little bit. This looks like a defense that can act. I mean, number 2 stop rate in the country right now. So this is a top-tier defense at least. And Arch Manning feels like he's getting his legs a little bit, obviously got some more confidence. So are we buying in Texas kind of getting back into the mix here?
Not yet, because their offensive line stinks. I mean, they stink.
A lot of holding penalties. Yeah.
It's a problem. I mean, if you watch the loss to Florida, Arch deserves a lot of the criticism that he's gotten, but if you watch the loss to Florida, it was like, what would you do? I mean, he's like, their left guard he's like a turnstile. Again, won't name him. So he was just getting beat up in
Hawkins.
that game.
He's also named Hawkins. Yeah. Let's just call everyone Hawkins.
Yeah, we'll just call them all Hawkins. So you look at that, and you look at the numbers from this game. I mean, I think he threw for 100. What was it? 166 yards and 6.1 yards per attempt. Whatever. But he did complete 77.8% of his passes, and that's what they got to do with that line. They got to get the ball out, let those playmakers on the outside. They got dudes on the outside. Let those guys make plays. That's the recipe for success. I think it's really good for them to get a win against a quality opponent. Now Arch has got, I think you're right, he's got his feet under him a little bit, and you could build off this. The other thing is they got to stay committed to the run. They're not going to be a very good running team because, again, that offensive line stinks. So you're not going to run the ball well, but you got to run it. Like they ran the ball 26 times against Florida, and Florida's just teeing off on Arch at that point. You can't do that. You got to keep him honest in some way. The defense is legit. Colin Simmons is a dude. The edge Colin Simmons had 2.5 sacks last week. He's going to play.
He was great against Florida. He had one series like where he got all stops by himself. I mean, it was just he's one guy.
He's those closers you talk about who can end a game with a sack. He's that kind of a player. That defense is for real. The secondary is good. Their scheme is good. The Florida game was a little bit of an eye opener, but that Florida team's, I mean, again, we're talking the SEC. Everyone's good, man. I mean, Florida, you're like, oh, they stink. They're pretty good. They actually got a lot of talent, and they hadn't had that freshman wide receiver until that game, Dallas Wilson, who's going to be a guy. So, I mean, you look at all of those things, and Texas is one of the top probably 3 or 4 defenses in the country. They got a chance. They got to go play at Georgia, win that game, and they got to host Texas A&M to end the season. We'll see. I think Georgia is as weak as they've been in a long time, but every time I think that, Kirby's Kirby, Georgia's Georgia. They go compete for a national championship. Like, it's like one of these things that I'm getting into the gambling thing more. It's funny. Like I'm a terrible gambler. I'm trying to figure it out. Like I'm like easy money for them. But when you look at it, it's one of those things where I watch tape and I'm like, oh, here's all these weaknesses in Georgia, and then they go and win the game. Where gamblers know, like, you just don't go against Georgia at Georgia. Like, that to be smarter than that.
I wanted to ask you, like, because of that, because it's a smack in the face every week for all these SEC teams. You don't get a break week to week. And it was so hard for Alabama as a 3-loss team to get in, even though they were ranked inside the top 12. They couldn't get in because conference winners got the automatic bye. I think this year they get a 4th team with 3 losses, but there's going to be a bunch of teams with 3 losses, right? Like, don't you see there's going to be like from 4 to 7 are going to have 3 losses? How are they going to decide?
I tried to figure that out with all their schedules, and like it was, I was
impossible.
like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with all like I was like, dude, I don't know.
It's too hard.
Like this guy wins, like it was just impossible to tell. I do think you're right, though. If we're being honest, I think they could end up that way. And this is what drives me nuts. We're always talking about we're trying to get the best team in the playoff, and it's like, are we really? Because like SMU had a great year last year. It was a great story. And did they quote unquote earn the right to go? Sure. Were they one of the best? Were they better than Alabama or Ole Miss last year with Jackson Dart? Like, I think Ole Miss and Alabama beat
South Carolina, right? I mean,
South Carolina
teams,
right.
Any of those teams, right? Like if you put any of those teams against SMU for 10 games, I think that, they're going to win 9.
Right.
So like it's kind of a joke with the committee of like, oh, we're not going to penalize them for losing the ACC championship game. So now we're just going to have 2 mediocre ACC teams in there this year. I mean, it is. I hope you're right. But then you got, like, when you start doing the math, I think Notre Dame gets back in. I think Notre Dame should be back in. I think Notre Dame's better than they were last year. So when you start doing the math of how they can get all these SEC, they need to go to 16. Like I keep saying it, they need to go to 16, because if you look at the top 16 in the rankings, you're like, that's a pretty good tournament, man. That looks pretty good to me. You know what I mean? It looks better than the 12.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep adding 4 teams. You know what I mean?
Please,
we're gonna get to the
point. Don't do that. It gets. I saw like some like bottle for 50, and I was like, all right, calm down. Like,
we're going to get to 64. It's going to turn into the basketball tournament soon.
This can't. It cannot turn. Like this is what it drives me nuts. We can't do March Madness. Like there's just not enough good teams for that. Like
let's leave March Madness alone.
Tate, in the 1800s, that's how the NCAA tournament was. There were 5 teams. 3 of them got buys, and it was over in like 6 days.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I did want to ask you this, Minch, because we got 3 teams that are probably the options, but who's the best team in the country based on what you've seen so far? Obviously, Ohio State, Miami, Indiana would be the 3 teams right now that you could kind of pick from. But of those 3, who do you think is actually the best?
It's Ohio State, and there's a big gap. And I'll start off with why not you, but the royal you might not think that that's the case, is because their schedule kind of stinks now. Like Texas isn't as good as they thought they were going to be, right? Or at least they weren't early in the year. Michigan's out of the top 25 now. Penn State looks like a shadow of what they thought they were going to be. They don't have any ranked opponents left on the schedule. I mean, the only ranked opponent, if Texas stays in there, unless some other things change, will be Texas. So you're looking at that schedule and you're like, eh. And I had concerns about a first-year starter and Julian Sayin, a quarterback, and a first-year play caller in Brian Hartline. I thought that was going to be an issue, but they're averaging 36.8 points per game. And the linebacker for them, Arvell Reese, is like, he's the second best player.
Looks like a Heisman Trophy candidate, right?
It's insane what he's doing. He's the second best player in college football, and Jeremiah Smith is the best, the wide receiver. I mean, they have the two best players on each side of the ball. I mean, both of those guys are just different human beings. Like, I mean, it's just unique what they can do. And then you're not even talking about a Caleb Downs, who's the best safety prospect in the draft. Sonny Styles is another guy who's going to be an early round draft pick at linebacker. They lost, I think, 9 guys to the draft or 8 guys to the draft. Not a problem. I think this defense could be historically great. They're giving up 6.8 points per game. And again, the schedule hasn't been tough. But dude, they look good. I mean, that defense looks like historically great. And then on offense, they're averaging 36.8. You got Ryan Day as your head coach, who just, the run they had to make to get to the playoffs coming off that Michigan. How do you doubt Ryan Day at this point? I mean, it's
Bo
Ohio
Jackson
State
at running back. Yeah,
I love the Bo Jackson. And I guess his name is Bo Lamar, or it's Lamar Bo or Bo Lamar. So he's either Bo or Lamar. Great. Like,
pretty good. Pretty good
destiny.
Start.
Yeah, I mean, it's just destined to be great. That offensive line, I always have questions about, and then they always play better than I think they will. So yeah, I mean, it's Ohio State and everyone else. Indiana's damn good. I would have had Miami ahead of Indiana, but like when you look at the teams that Miami's beaten, I thought they were better wins than they were. Florida State's evaporated. I mean, they just evaporated over the last 3 weeks. They're gone. The UCF game was like, it's a nice story that they had those big wins against Boise State and Florida, but like not really, I would say, a quality win. I think Notre Dame, again, great team. I think that's a good win for them, but I think Indiana now has a slight edge over Miami. So it's those 3, but Ohio State and everyone else, really.
Isn't it weird? It like you and I, the 3 of us could try to figure out the SEC championship game right now. We get 5 guesses each, and we probably couldn't do it, right? Because there's so much competition. And yet the other big conference, the Big Ten, here we are middle of October. And because of these team schedules, it's definitely Ohio State, Indiana. Like there's just no way it's going to be anything else, I don't think.
Yeah. And it drives me nuts that the committee they didn't do it last year. I mean, they just didn't do it last year. Like strength of schedule didn't matter. And it was like, what are we doing here? Like, yeah, I get that SMU deserves to go, but so does Ole Miss, and so does Alabama, like more so. So why not get them in? If we keep talking about the committee, I'll lose my mind, because I was so mad last year. So mad last year.
I want to talk about this weekend. We got a great slate of games. I mean, just LSU, Vandy, Ole Miss, Georgia, USC, Notre Dame, Utah, BYU. Favorite matchup this weekend, Minch, that you're excited to see?
There are some really good ones. Alabama, Tennessee, I think is probably second to me, but it's USC, Notre Dame. I think. Because you look at, first of all, I think it's going to be a great game. Hopefully we don't get the USC that didn't wake up for the Illinois game and had the tough travel and all that. Hopefully they're more on top of that, because you look at what they did to Michigan last week, and I think that's the USC team we expected to see for the whole year. Right. They're a good team. They're a balanced team. Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver, might be on the hottest streak of any player in the country right now. He's been unbelievable. I think Notre Dame, to me, is a top 10 team. The only teams they've lost to are Miami, and they got absolutely hosed against Texas A&M because the refs missed a holding call.
A bad holding call that was obvious.
I mean,
right.
I can't stand when people talk about officials and how they don't, like, you don't lose a game because of a bad call. That's as close as it gets, man. It looks like you might have lost the game because of a bad call, and that gives you 2 losses. So now the stakes are high for Notre Dame, right? They can't lose this game and get in, I don't think. But I think they do win this game. I think CJ Carr is the best quarterback, playing the best quarterback, maybe outside of Fernando Mendoza for Indiana and Ty Simpson for Alabama. I think those 3 guys are on a different level right now. CJ Carr is, a first-year starter who I think has been, over the last 4 games, I think he's averaging 310 passing yards. You got that run game with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and that offensive line that's really good. That offense is going to be tough. I think the defense is settled in. They got an edge that's pretty good in Boubacar Traore, and the secondary is really good. That's going to be a great matchup. Lemon going against that secondary. I think Notre Dame wins that game, but because of the stakes, because of how good those teams are. I look at those SEC games. I really like Alabama. You look at some of the spreads. I think the closest one is the Vanderbilt LSU one.
Yeah,
and I think Vanderbilt's favored, right?
Yeah,
I like
2.5.
I like Vanderbilt in that game.
There you go, Tate. Told you.
LSU, LSU. I don't know, man. Like, the defense has been good. I really like the defense, but I think Nussmeier's hurt. I don't think the receivers have stepped up like they thought they were. I think that's another team where the offensive line just stinks. They're 113th, I think, in rushing yards per game. And Vanderbilt's at home. If that game's at Baton Rouge, it's a different story, right? I mean, it's hard to win there. But I think it's starting to become hard to win at Vanderbilt, to be honest with you. I mean, Diego Pavia he's a pain in the ass. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, he's just like Haynes King from Georgia Tech. These guys, they hang around and then they win games. Like, they just find ways to will their team to win.
Plays. Yeah,
it drives you nuts. You look at what he did to Alabama last year. It's just he can do that. I really like Vanderbilt in the game. And the other, like, you look at the other spreads, I think they're all like 7 or more. Which I think is accurate. I think Georgia is favored over Ole Miss, right? I think that's who that game. I think that and the Notre Dame spread's pretty big too. I think they're favored by a fair amount.
That went to 9.5.
Yeah, they're both 9.5 right now.
Yeah. And I get it. I do. I think that I would, if I'm betting that game, I'm taking USC with the points, but I like Notre Dame to win.
There you go.
There you go. College football. What a great weekend that we have. Great matchups. Minch, you and McShay doing a great job. We love the Saturday lives. We go early in the day. You guys go late in the day. So it's been a lot of fun having it all covered. And it's been a great season so far. A lot of storylines, a lot of stuff happening. Where can everybody find your work, find you on socials, and then we'll let you go enjoy the rest of your day, man?
It's at YouGoodBench everywhere for X and Instagram and all that. So it's MUENCH. I wish it was easier to spell, but it's at YouGoodBench.
Love it, Minch. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. We'll have you back, and happy to hear that you're in the gambling space now. You're slowly coming over to the dark side.
Welcome aboard.
I'm trying, man. I'm so man. I'm
Welcome
cooler.
to hell.
I'm the worst.
We love it. Thanks, Minch. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, there you have it. A lot of college football talk on today's show. You love to see it. We appreciate Minch coming on the show. Minch, we'll talk to you soon. Coming up after the break, we're going to come back and give you our best bets for Tuesday nights. And if it's my bet, it's going to be the worst bet for Tuesday night because I have not been on a hot streak. So
come on, don't talk like that, Tate. Let's go. Let's get it going.
Keep it positive. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Ringer Gambling Show. All right, we're back. Ringer Gambling Show, best bets for Tuesday night. Sal, we got a lot of options on the board. We got baseball, playoff baseball, best time of the year here in October. What do you like tonight, Sal? And is there anything that really stands out to you on the board?
I am going to the ladies hardcourt WNBA game 13 of the Oh no, that's over. It's over, right? I'm sorry.
I thought it was best of 15. What's happening?
It's best of 15. They should. I don't know how many they would have to get before Phoenix actually played a good game. Believe me, I was on all those losses. I make fun, but Dodgers Brewers is the big one, the main event tonight. Yamamoto -122, Peralta +104. I'm going to do something fun here. You could get this on FanDuel. It's in the FanDuel specials. And good luck to Mikey Meatball fitting this on a graphic. But Freddie Peralta, starter for the Brewers, to go 3 up, 3 down in the first inning, pays +115. He's one of the few aces left in this Final Four here. Tate, 17-6, 270 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. Top of the lineup is 6 for 28 against him. That's, I think, 215 or something bad. So he's got the home crowd behind him. Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar. I'm guessing those are the 3. 1, 2, 3 gets me +115.
I like that call. I do feel like Milwaukee, those fans, they were aghast last night. They could not believe they actually lost that game. Bases loaded. It did feel like, once they made the change that it was going to be a moment for them to get that win. One of the craziest plays we've seen in a baseball game that happened in that one with the ricochet off the wall that creates a force out at home for Teoscar Hernandez. That was an insane play. So it felt like Milwaukee was going to get game 1. Somehow the Dodgers escape and win that game. I think the Brewers bounce back. I think both of us believe in that tonight. So I'm going to take Brewers money line plus 106. So some plus money there for Milwaukee. I feel like they're maybe a little bit due, and I think the small ball in this game comes back to bite the Dodgers a little bit. So I'm going to take Milwaukee to win this one to even up the series 1-1. This is going to be a fun series. I like this.
Why not?
NLCS
Yeah,
matchup.
let's make them long series. Come on.
Let's have some games to watch. Mariners taking care of business, it looks like so far. So this one could be a fun one. Sal, anything else before we get out of here? Any shout outs to anybody before we say goodbye to everybody in the Ringer gambling world?
No, I'm tired. That's enough. That's enough. I'll be on this channel at some point, twice more this week, then on Sunday morning, then with Simmons on Sunday night with Guest Alliance. Boomer Esiason coming up later in the week.
I can't wait. And we got a core week next week here at Spotify.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be out here on the West Coast. So a lot of fun, a lot of things happening, a lot of people live and in person doing shows. So good, look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Ironically, I eat more food during core week. It does more damage to my core than any other. That's when everybody comes out. Are we going to be watching football together Sunday? You could say
I'm
yes
in.
and then not
Yeah,
show up.
I'm in. Please. I need to know where to watch it. Someone tell me. I'll go figure it out. But
it's
I want to
that
watch
big
some football.
studio downtown. And
that's right.
God forbid
That
anyone
theater.
recommend we put the Red Zone channel on the big screen. Fists will be flying.
I'm supposed to go to the Chargers-Colts game at 125, Sal.
Oh,
but, maybe I sell those tickets. That's my new racket. I just sell tickets. That's a new thing. A lot of fun.
Scalper Frazier.
Future scalper out there. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Ringer Gambling Show Tuesday edition. We have a lot of good fun here, and appreciate Muench coming on the show. I hope everybody has a great Tuesday and enjoys the rest of their week and enjoys the Ringer Gambling Show because we got great content coming up the rest of the week. Thanks, Sal. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you soon.
Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York.